With J-Man in place, Adam and Jamie line up for round one.
This is going to be like a medical procedure.
Jamie doesn't like to do anything hastily, and I like to do everything incredibly hastily.
Take it off.
I think he's serious.
This thing, if it works well, is going to launch something like a Volkswagen out the end of that tube every few seconds.
Adam is understandably nervous.
If something catches, it can rip, it can tear, things can come apart. This is the hard part. If we get past this, we're golden.
With military-like precision, after the manhandling, it slowly but surely rises.
It's bigger than yours.
Let's inflate and see.
He wants all the knobs, bells, and baskets he can get.
Are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Because it'll be spinning at high RPM, the shaft must be accurately machined on a lathe.
Otherwise, we're liable to rip something. If we can get it so it ever so gently goes up, we're golden.
The shaft must be encased in a heavy steel pipe, including a remote control rudder, AB foam legs, and torso, modeled, of course, on Grant.
Ta-da! What are you gonna do to me with that?
And for safety, a night vision camera and emergency oxygen.
This thing is absolutely as solid as a rock. It's perfect.
It's about to get really messy in here, so I'm going to take some precautions.
Well, I've thought of using this rubber that's used in a lot of sex toys.
Tori and Grant strap on their harnesses, secure themselves to the chair, carefully replaces Buster's hands with metal clamps, and loads him into the van.
Now, what if if you're hurt? Like, what if this starts to feel uncomfortable?
I'll take it gradually. If I feel things moving around that shouldn't be moving,
All right.
I'll disconnect.
It's the most requested fan myth ever, so failure to launch is not an option for the Mythbusters.
Well, the first thing that we would do is to induce some significant stimuli to see if there's any neurological response.
And then you have about 30 seconds before it starts expanding and foaming up.
Next is a question we're all dying to know the answer to. What's Tori's technique? Tori is prepping him to take the plunge.
Before any of us try it, we're going to let Buster try it first so we can see how dangerous it is.
You won't die immediately, but you'll bleed to death in about 24 hours.
Sounds great, unless your name happens to be Buster. Mounted on a forklift and weighing close to 1,000 pounds, Jamie passionately gets a once-over from Adam before everyone retreats to a safe distance.
This experiment's going to be kind of fun, except for when it's my turn.
This is familiar Mythbusters territory.
I don't know if I'm gonna like this too much.
His concerns are size, strength, and comfort.
And you think we can do this tastefully?
Well, maybe not tastefully, but scientifically.
Okay.
Are you ready to try it, the real deal?
Sure.
All right.
Have you done that?
Uh-huh.
Is it real? What, is this all low to the ground?
Yeah, you're like this for all day long.
Oh.
How long do you think the average person might last?
I'm guessing around maybe 3 hours tops.
How long do you think you're gonna last?
Well, 3 hours is like on the verge of death, and I don't think I'm willing to go quite that far.
Now, Grant has known roughly what he was in for a while, but as he takes in the details, Grant has his butt welded together. And this is going to be living hell. You can literally see his brain chemically shouting at his body, "Run, Grant, run!"
Grant just sprayed
into the eye socket.
Nice. I can't even come close to competing with that.
Jamie's been shafted. But what about the all-important penetration?
Wow. 8.5 inches.
8.5 inches ain't bad. But retired FBI agent Frank Doyle thinks that just won't cut it. And as Jamie explains, that's because it's not big enough yet.
And 8 inches is really not that impressive.
I tell you, that might be ridiculously impractical, but, if someone says it's impossible, we just take it as a challenge.
By the time the team is done with this story, they will have been pushed to their absolute limits.
I think it won't handle the stresses once we get much larger.
You're right.
Adam and Jamie's solution is to drill a larger hole. That's 3 pounds per square inch of exposed butt.
I'm predicting a lot of pain.
I'm going to up the pressure quite a bit, and I'm going to lubricate it a little bit.
His dry run lasted 50 minutes.
You know, there's something vaguely disturbing about this, and I'm not sure what it is.
Now they're onto something.
Okay, lubrication might help some of the friction so that we can get a little better spin on this.
And 1 inch more penetration.
I love it. Let's do it.
Okay. It's going up. It's just amazing.
But already, Jamie has some grave concerns.
I don't know if I can handle this, actually. So this time, we're going to use a steel pipe. This is about 8 times as heavy, and it's going to do something pretty violent.
Dude, this is elegant and simple.
So it'll open like a flower.
Exactly.
Oh, I can already feel it.
To come up through the bottom, that probably involves some sort of filter device on the bottom. The ideal would be to get so you plumb it in there, but then you get stuck.
This sounds awesome.
I'm starting to get uncomfortable.
It doesn't seem awkward or out of place, but it does beg the question, is it really that easy to redirect all the energy that's going this way to going that way?
Yeah, I think it actually works. I think we'll actually get our 3,000 gallons per minute.
All right, you ready for 2 inches?
Of course I'm ready for 2 inches.
Well, that certainly gets the juices flowing.
Now, Jamie and I are going to do it Hollywood style.
This has got to be the most gruesome thing I've ever made.
That's going to be hard to explain.
Jamie's idea of fun is likely different to yours, mine, and Adam's.
So we're going to turn on the pump. We're going to lower the butt into place. We'll see if we get any pressure on this.
But is that power enough to penetrate a windshield? And
That might be a little too fast.
that's what I said.
Is everybody okay? We got it all over our high-speed operator. That just went everywhere, and it broke the stick.
Right, which is precisely the opposite of what you want to happen.
In the short term, it might make you feel good, but ultimately, it's the last thing you want to do.
Time for something more hardcore.
That's a lot of suction.
Since we forgot to bring the lard, the lunch table had a little leftover mayo, so I'm going to try that. Sometimes you just need a little extra lubrication. Too bad we forgot the lard.
That's about what, 6 inches, maybe a foot?
And I don't see how we can modify this to be long enough.
What we have left to do is that we have to make a rig to hold a big hose for the output, and that's going to be a tough job, actually. And finally, we're going to paint it red so that it looks like firefighting equipment.
I feel funny.
Although, by this point, Adam's having too much fun to care.
It's all working out quite well right now.
We have already gotten exactly what we came looking for, which is
Complete penetration.
Satisfies me on a deep 5-year-old level.
Weird, but very interesting. Despite Jamie's discomfort, this time, free from its protective guard, what are the odds this thing will actually work?
One of the things we want to know is how fast can we poke a flagpole? And monitor Jamie until he begs for mercy.
And just yank it.
That's great. That's terrific. Not so fast, man.
I actually have a lot of experience doing something rather like this.
Pow! All my fingers exploded, and then I'm flying through the air.
You know we can't leave it there. You know this debate would never be quelled until you and I did it full scale, and that's just what we have to do.
Well, you know what that means.
Yes, I do.
Older appliances don't have ground fault interrupters, and so they're potentially more dangerous. So we need to get some of those.
Really? Does that work?
I don't know, but that's the myth.
Really nice.
It really looks great. You like that?
I'm looking forward to spanking it.
When we've finished admiring it, we better get on with finding something to make it suck.
Oh, I don't feel so bad.
Go ahead and swallow that puppy.
But it's changing rapidly.
This is the part I haven't been looking forward to the whole time. I got a hair. Blood was thinning and moving more towards my extremities, making me feel more comfortable. This is hot.
You had enough yet?
I can take whatever you can throw at me.
I've always wanted to try it. We'll use a forklift. We'll hoist this big ass over the toilet. Crap's going everywhere, and if you're anywhere in the vicinity, you're going to get covered in it.
I don't know why you didn't just use a balloon, stuck it in your butt.
All right, it's party time.
It gets the round hoop in the square hole every time.
I would say we have about a 25% chance of nothing whatsoever happening. about a 50% chance of something bad happening, and then the other 50% chance is that it's going to work.
Jamie, that's 125%.
Well, so sue me.
Who's gonna do it in like 30 seconds?
Shoot up that way. Like that.
Then, the original drive shaft is removed.
Poo flying everywhere.
That was, I have to say, I'm a little disappointed.
Is that it?